I kind of just wanted to share a little bit about what made this Christmas so awesome. To start off, my mom was waiting for her tuition check to come in, and it came in on Friday, which was 2 days before Christmas, so we were basically going to use that to buy my sister's Christmas present. I was late to the bank to deposit it. The bank closed at 4, and I had to work at 4:30. I got there about 10 minutes late. So at that point, I felt like I had ruined Christmas. I went to work, got off at a decent time, went and helped my friend, and then ended up going to like a late night, I guess it's a bar, and I was just sitting there by myself with one of my friends. Well, he was not with me, but I was waiting for him to be ready to leave, and this older gentleman came up to me and just started small talk, and at first I thought it was kind of strange, a little bit creepy. Asked me what I did, asked me where I worked, because I told him I was a server, and he pulled out $50, and I was like, what is this? He said, can you save me a table for tomorrow? And I said, I'm sorry, I'm not working tomorrow, and I can't accept this. He said, well, what about Sunday? And I was like, well, I'm working Sunday, I can do my best. And I told him with tears in my eyes, I said, thank you, you just helped me buy my mom a Christmas present. Obviously, working as a waitress in the holidays is kind of slow, so I haven't been able to save very much. And after he saw me getting all emotional, he pulled out another 50, which made me cry harder. Ultimately, sitting there, he ended up giving me about $150. And at this point, I'm a bawling mess because God's timing is just too perfect. If I hadn't been in that exact spot, if I hadn't chosen to go meet up with some friends, if I hadn't been sitting there by myself, like, who knows what would have happened. He said he offered to meet me at the bank because he didn't have any more cash. And he said, well, there's an ATM down the road. If you want to meet me there, I can give you money. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, no, I'm not. What? Like, I don't want your money. And so I just told him bye. I told my friend what happened, and he went over and shook his hand and was like, thank you so much. Like, that's really awesome what you're doing. He ended up, it turns out he's the CEO of a company in Atlanta, and a very, very sweet guy. So as I was driving my friend home, we were passing the bank, and I saw his Uber card there. So I was like, well, my friend told me to just pull that way and just tell him thank you one more time. So I did. I got out of the car, and he was standing there, and so I gave him a hug, and I was just like, thank you so much, like, this is such a blessing. And he shook my hand and handed me a wad of cash. I didn't know how much, and I was like, I can't take this, like, what? And I obviously started crying again. And I was just like, I don't know what to say to you. You just saved Christmas, literally. And the plan was at work that night, I was telling what happened with the bank situation to a coworker, and he had enough money saved up. He offered to loan me some money until we could get the check cashed. I was like, I can't ask you to do that. Like, and he was just like, no, it's Christmas. Like, as long as I can get the money back next week. And I was like, you know what? I might have to take you up on that because my sister deserves an awesome Christmas. And this is the first Christmas we've had with her in 2 years. My dad gets her every other year. So that was the plan. He was going to loan me $900 to $1,000. And after I met the guy at the bank to tell him thank you one more time, he left, and I prayed for him after he left, and my friend came over and gave me a hug, and gave him a hug too, and was just like, you know, I know what she's been going through. I know how hard, like, this Christmas is, like, money-wise, like, financially on her family, and you're, like, this is just amazing. So we started to get back in my car, and he asked how much it was, and so I counted it up, and before the guy had left, he said he didn't know how much it was, but he just wanted me to pay it forward, use it wisely, and that he knew that I would, that he just had this gut feeling that this was something that God was, I guess, like, saying to him. So we get in the car, and I counted up the money, and it added up to exactly what I was going to borrow from my coworker to pay for Christmas, only my mom didn't have to pay it back. So at this point, I'm sitting in the bank parking lot by my car, crying and, like, thanking Jesus. Like, you guys have no idea, like, it's so crazy how things work out. So when I got home, my sister and my mom were already asleep. I put $900 downstairs and wrote my mom a note, and I said, all I want you to do right now is take this money and thank God, because there's no other explanation for this, and I will tell you what happened later when I wake up. So woke up the next morning, told her all about it. She started crying, my sister started crying. I was just in awe. My mom went to Savannah to go shopping, because Brunswick obviously doesn't have very many stores, for what my sister had on her list, at least. So Sarah and I decided to go shopping for Mom, because I, at that point, had money to go buy her presents. And I haven't been able to buy my mom a present in several years without, like, help from my grandma or anything. So we were shopping around, and we were getting close to being done. Like, we went to Ulta and then stopped by the mall for a little bit. She had one thing on her list that we could get at Walmart. And I was like, well, Walmart's probably crazy. I mean, it's Christmas Eve, so, like, maybe we shouldn't go. Like, all this, like, I was just thinking all the negatives. Like, while we were pulling in there, and this car in the, like, almost front of the parking lot was pulling out. So I was like, well, we'll stop in there. I mean, it's obviously not too crazy. So I went back there, and they didn't have what she was looking for. But as we were passing the electronics aisle, my sister overheard this woman, and I think it was her older son, talking to a guy that worked at Walmart about the iPod Touches, and asked how much they were and everything. And my sister overheard her say, oh, $190, we can't afford that. Like, it's just not an option. We can't do it. So they ended up walking away. Well, a couple minutes later, Sarah got my attention, and she said, Sissy, we need to do something about this. And I instantly, like, felt this pull, like, on my heart. I was like, you have got to find this lady. So me and my sister are running around Walmart like crazy. Like, have you seen, like, we asked the man, we were like, have you seen her? Like, did you see which way she went? Blah, blah, blah. Could not find her. So I was like, okay, well, we'll head to the front. We'll leave. If we see her checking out, then we see her. If not, I'll pray. So we were praying the whole time anyways. We get to the front, and the lines were crazy. So we were just looking around. My sister goes, that's her. And I was like, are you sure? She's like, yes. And I was like, are you sure? Because I'm about to walk up to this lady and sound really crazy. She's like, yes, that's her. So I walk up to her, and I was just like, excuse me, were you the lady that was just talking to the man about an iPod Touch? She said yes, and I had already pulled money out of my purse, and I handed her about $100, and I said, will this help? And she started crying, and I started crying, and we were all crying. Her older son was like, oh my God, like, and I just looked at her and I was just like, I just want you to know that Jesus loves you, and he hears you, and he sees exactly whatever it is that you're going through right now, and I just want you to have an amazing Christmas this year. And she hugged me, she hugged my sister, her son hugged both of us. She asked us for a picture, so we got pictures with her. And I can honestly say, like, just doing that, even after somebody giving back, like, giving me something, being able to, like, pay that forward, like, full force, as much as I could have given her at that point, was the most amazing thing ever. And she told me that even without the money, whatever I said to her really meant something, as she was crying. So I just want you guys to know that no matter what you're going through, God really does see you, and he is watching you. Like, he sees where you are at any given moment and can make these miracles happen. Like, if I had chosen not to go to Walmart, I wouldn't have been able to bless this lady. If I had chosen not to go see my friends, that man wouldn't have had the opportunity to bless me. And even though, you know, money isn't everything, it sure is an amazing thing to be able to give back to people. So I just want to thank Jesus, and Lee, you know who you are, you know what you did, and I'm so grateful, and I'm praying for you, and I'm praying for that sweet lady at Walmart and everybody else. So if you watched this entire thing, thanks. If not, and you skipped a couple pieces, I hope you got the gist of it. It's kind of a long video, but yeah, so that was my Christmas. Bye guys.